The mysterious disappearance of Amy Lynn Bradley, a case that still haunts the Caribbean. Amy Lynn Bradley was a bright, adventurous 23-year-old woman with her whole life ahead of her when she vanished without a trace from a cruise ship in the Caribbean on March 24, 1998. Her disappearance remains one of the most baffling unsolved cases in modern history, raising questions about the dangers lurking on the high seas. Despite multiple reported sightings over the years suggesting she may have been trafficked, her fate remains unknown. This is the story of Amy Lynn Bradley and the enduring mystery of her disappearance. Amy Lynn Bradley was born on May 12, 1974, in Petersburg, Virginia. A talented athlete, she played basketball in high school and later attended Longwood University, where she earned a degree in physical education. She was known for her outgoing personality, independent spirit, and strong sense of family. Her parents, Ron and Iva Bradley, and her younger brother, Brad, adored her, and their close-knit bond made the events of March 1998 even more devastating. The Bradleys had planned a family vacation aboard the Royal Caribbean International cruise ship, Rhapsody of the Seas, to celebrate Amy's recent college graduation. It was meant to be a time of relaxation and fun, but instead, it turned into a nightmare that would haunt them for the rest of their lives. On March 21, 1998, the Bradley family boarded the Rhapsody of the Seas in San Juan, Puerto Rico. The ship was set to sail through the Caribbean, stopping at several islands, including Aruba, Curacao, and St. Martin. The trip started off as an enjoyable experience, with Amy socializing with fellow passengers and crew members. On the night of March 23, Amy and her brother Brad went to a dance club on the ship, where they enjoyed live music from the band Blue Orchid. Witnesses, including members of the band, reported seeing Amy dancing and having drinks with the musicians and some crew members. Brad eventually decided to return to their cabin around 3:30 a.m., while Amy stayed behind for a while longer. Security footage later showed her leaving the club at around 3:45 a.m. After leaving the club, Amy was last seen walking toward her family's cabin. Her father, Ron, briefly woke up around 5:30 a.m. and saw Amy sitting on the balcony of their cabin, looking out at the ocean. She appeared awake and in deep thought, but nothing seemed unusual. He went back to sleep, assuming she would soon head to bed. By 6 a.m., when Ron woke up again, Amy was gone. The family initially believed she had stepped out for a moment, perhaps to explore the ship or grab breakfast. However, as time passed and she did not return, panic set in. The Bradleys began searching frantically, checking the common areas, pool deck, and dining rooms. They asked crew members for assistance, but their concerns were not immediately taken seriously. The family insisted that Amy would not have simply wandered off or left the ship willingly. Disturbingly, some passengers later reported seeing Amy in the early morning hours. A witness claimed to have seen her with crew members near an elevator, while another guest said she spotted Amy walking in a dazed state near the ship's deck. These accounts suggested that something may have happened to her after she left her family's cabin. Another alarming detail emerged when the Bradleys recalled how some of the ship's crew had taken a special interest in Amy. Crew members had been overly friendly and persistent in their interactions with her, to the point that Amy mentioned feeling uncomfortable. One bartender allegedly told her that she should visit a particular island bar when the ship docked in Curacao. Some speculate that she may have been lured into a dangerous situation. When Amy failed to reappear, the family pleaded with the ship's crew to make an emergency announcement and conduct a full search before docking. However, their requests were ignored, and the ship docked in Curacao later that day. The Bradleys were devastated when the captain refused to delay departure for a thorough investigation. Instead, a basic search of common areas was conducted, yielding no results. The official investigation into Amy's disappearance was launched after the ship returned to the U.S., but by then, valuable time had been lost. The FBI became involved, interviewing passengers and crew members, but no definitive answers emerged. Since Amy disappeared in international waters near Curacao, the FBI had to work with multiple jurisdictions, including Royal Caribbean Cruises, local authorities in the Caribbean, and international law enforcement agencies. The ship's crew initially downplayed the urgency of Amy's disappearance, allowing passengers to disembark before a proper lockdown search was conducted. By the time the FBI was formally involved, crucial hours had already passed, potentially allowing a perpetrator to escape. The FBI examined Amy's cabin for evidence but found no clear signs of a struggle or forced entry. Given that Amy was last seen alive by her father on their balcony, the FBI considered multiple theories, including accidental drowning, suicide, voluntary disappearance, and abduction. However, Amy was a trained swimmer and had no history of suicidal thoughts, making the drowning theory unlikely. The FBI interviewed multiple individuals on the ship and in Curacao. Several people recalled seeing Amy in the nightclub with the ship's band, Blue Orchid, particularly a band member named Alistair Yellow Douglas. Some reports suggest Douglas had shown particular interest in Amy before her disappearance. Some tourists reported seeing a woman resembling Amy on the island after she went missing, suggesting she might have been taken ashore. A former U.S. Navy sailor claimed he encountered a woman in a Curacao brothel who pleaded for help and identified herself as Amy before being forcibly taken away. The FBI took this report seriously, but a follow-up investigation did not locate the woman. The FBI strongly considered human trafficking as a possible explanation, given the reports of suspicious men showing interest in Amy before she disappeared. Reports of similar crimes involving cruise ships and Caribbean trafficking rings added credibility to this theory. The FBI worked with Interpol and other agencies to check records of known trafficking networks, but no conclusive evidence was found. Accidental drowning theory. One of the earliest theories suggested that Amy may have accidentally fallen overboard, but this was widely dismissed by her family and experts. Amy was a strong swimmer, and there were no signs of struggle or distress. Furthermore, if she had fallen into the ocean, search and rescue efforts would likely have found some trace of her. Some speculated that Amy may have voluntarily left the ship, but this theory was quickly debunked. She had no reason to disappear, had a strong relationship with her family, and had left behind personal belongings in her cabin. Additionally, she had been making plans for her return home, including getting a new job and adopting a pet. The most disturbing and widely accepted theory is that Amy was abducted and forced into human trafficking. The cruise ship's crew members were heavily scrutinized after reports surfaced that some had taken an unusual interest in Amy. Several crew members were reportedly seen attempting to lure her to secluded areas. In 1999, a U.S. Navy officer stationed in Curacao claimed to have seen Amy in a brothel. He reported that she looked frightened and had approached him, trying to communicate before being taken away by handlers. Unfortunately, by the time authorities investigated the lead, the brothel had been shut down, and Amy was nowhere to be found. More than 2 decades have passed since Amy Lynn Bradley disappeared, but her case remains one of the most haunting mysteries in true crime history. While her fate is still unknown, many believe she is still alive, held against her will somewhere in the world. Her family continues to search for answers, refusing to let her story fade into obscurity. Anyone with information about Amy's whereabouts is urged to contact authorities. Until then, her family holds on to hope that one day they will be reunited with their beloved daughter, and the mystery of her disappearance will finally be solved.